welcome to another Teacher's Corner. I'm Teacher Kirby, and for this episode, this will be actually targeted at fleet leaders. Believe it or not, this was suggested by a viewer who was thinking of opening or starting his own fleet, and thought it would be a good idea to get some advice and suggested I make the video. So, fleets, obviously, first thing, if you're going to make a fleet, you do need 5 people that are on the same team, and there are certain places to go to do that. If you're a KDF, you go to Kronos. If you are Federation, you go to ESD, and there are places to help you start your fleet. That'll be a separate episode. So, once you start your fleet, there are certain ways you need to proceed. So, first of all, this was made when there were, let me open this up. This was made when the current holdings were Starbase Spire, Research Lab, K-13, Embassy, Dilithium Mine, and Colony World. So if you're looking at this and things have expanded, then obviously the same things mostly still apply. So, first things first, assuming your fleet is brand new, nothing is done yet, first thing you want to fill out, the dilithium mine. You want to fill out the dilithium mine because, here it is, because with every overall tier, there's sub-tier, which are these colored ones, and then there's the overall tier. With every overall tier, you get a project that gives you a fleet dilithium discount. This means that you have to pay less dilithium into fleet projects as well as to get fleet gear. So this dilithium discount, at first it's 4%, then it's 5% discount. Now, so a total of 9, because now it gives you a 5% discount that stacks with the first one. Okay. And then it ends up being 9 plus 6, which is 15. So it ends up being a total of a 15% dilithium discount to all projects and gear that you buy while you're attached to this fleet. You also get a dilithium store discount that adds up to the same amount. Okay? So, this, trust me, this holding, getting this to tier 3, should be your very first priority, because that means it's going to cost you less, okay, for everything. Okay, now there is also, where is it? Here it is. On your trade sub-tier, you also get a commodity and energy credit fleet discount as you move that one up. What that means is that you have to pay less energy credits. So you see how for this project, 421,600, and there are other projects, everything that you have to contribute reduces as you complete this sub-tier, the energy credit and commodities, and the fleet marks. The project discount for the fleet marks is your development tier. So basically what we're saying is, or what I'm saying is, The dilithium mine is your first priority, okay? Because the dilithium mine has discounts on the amount of dilithium that you will have to contribute, up to 15%. The trade tier has commodity and energy credit fleet discounts that again go up to 15%. There it is. So 5 and 6 that stack. And the fleet mark discount goes up to 15% as well. So again, I'm going to say it again, dilithium mine, top priority. Okay. Now after that would be the research lab, in my opinion, or the spire. Now the reason for either one of those, the spire, when you get up to tier 3 research, is going to have the, where is it? Nope, wrong one. Nope, research. There it is. When you get up to tier 3 research, you will earn the ultra rare vulnerability locators Mark 12 tactical consoles. Now this is important because this is what everybody who is doing DPS is told they need to get. These are extremely good consoles, but they do not unlock until you reach tier 3 in research. So your second priority would be the spire. And I say the research lab because of, and of course it's not available right now, because of the project that gives you the upgrade project, weekly project that gives you a boost to your damage and gives you extra hit points, etc. Okay, so Spire gives you those tactical consoles that everybody loves. Research Lab gives an overall boost for all fleet members to your damage and hit points. After that, there is no priority between the embassy and K13, not really. Starbase, you can keep going, and you see I've got my own system for doing this. So you can keep working on the Starbase. I want construction projects. There we go. You can keep working on the Starbase as you go. Now you may notice that I've only got 2 yellow projects here. The way I do mine is the top project is a rotating provision project. So you'll notice as you scroll down, and first things first, never ever slot the basic provisioning project unless you need provisions right away and can fill it right away. It takes only dilithium, but it does not give you a very large amount of provisions. Okay, you're going to get a lot more provisions. See, this gives you 5 provisions. If you just do the provision fleet ships, first of all, it's going to cost you less dilithium. But second, it's going to give you 12, more than double. Okay, so always better to do the normal provisioning. But the way I run my Starbase, I always put a provisioning project up top and it goes through. So first time I go through, it rotates between fleet ships, operational assets. I don't do this. I skip the reinforce, but I go through and then I'll go Right now it's on provision, what is it? Provision personal fleet equipment, and then provision science operational assets is in there next. Okay, provision science op assets right there. The next one that'll be going up will be engineering operational assets, and finally fleet equipment from engineering. So that's my rotation. The next one is whatever sub-tier I'm working on. Okay, so if you look, I've already finished tier 4 here, finished tier 4 here, so I'm working on tier 4 here. That is the other thing. Never, ever, ever build evenly. Always stagger your tiers. And I'll explain why. So let's go back to Colony World. So you notice how I have this red one coming out, pointing out in front. My red sub-tier here. And if you notice with the projects I'm putting, I'm doing more work on my morale sub-tier than on my infrastructure sub-tier, and I'm not doing anything on my renewable energy sub-tier at the moment. So here's the reason. Okay, if you build evenly, if I do one project worth 1,000 on each one, I get to the point where they need to upgrade at the same time. You go, oh yeah, that's wonderful. Well, as soon as you get to the point where they need to upgrade, there are no projects available. You have to go down here and complete the upgrade to unlock the next level of projects. You may be going, well, teach, what's the problem with that? Well, if you build evenly and they all get to the point where you upgrade at the same time, you can only do one upgrade at a time. You will have 0 projects you are able to slot and 3 upgrades you have to do. Upgrades take a while to fill. They require more resources. They require more fleet credits. They require more, or fleet marks, sorry. And they require more dilithium, etc. And they take longer to cool down. Now, why is that important? If you know, the colony world's fairly new, you may go, but teach, the tier 1 colony world only took 20 hours just like the other projects. And you're right, yes it did. But the tier 2 of each of these sub-tiers, that's going to take about 3 days. The tier 3, it's going to take about 5 days. The tier 4, it's going to take about a week, maybe 10 days. And the tier 5 is going to take about 2 weeks. Okay? So, and I speak from experience. Okay? So never build evenly. Okay? Stagger. Because, and always have one that's, you know, days out from going up, from needing that upgrade, so that you have the ability to always slot something, okay, as you go. Alright, and that's why. As a fleet leader also, I recommend doing a lot of Defera Invasion Zone. And I can always go on and do another Teacher's Corner about that. Boy, this is just a wealth of ideas. Okay, why Defera Invasion Zone? because it is the easiest thing to do to get yourself a lot of fleet marks. Now this character is actually quite low on fleet marks, but if I switch characters, you will see what I mean. So you want to get yourself a lot of fleet marks. You're going to save those. Usually your fleet members will want to dump their fleet marks, so you're going to save those. You're going to save yours. And you see I have here 18,706. Why do I have that many, and why am I telling you I'm saving them? I am saving them for those upgrades to push through. Okay. You'll also notice, I'm also going to show you, I've got quite a bit of Zen. I can turn that Zen over into dilithium anytime I wish, and then I use the dilithium when I need to fill projects. I will use dilithium from this to push through an upgrade. You'll also notice on the first character I was on, I had quite a few fleet credits. I put those back in the fleet to buy things like duty officers. Where's my K13? To buy things like duty officers that I need. Okay? Or provisions that nobody ever wants to donate. Okay? So keep your resources and save them for upgrades. You will be the upgrade pusher guy. Okay, so you're going to try and push through upgrades as fast as you can so that you don't have a backlog. Alright, so let's do the TLDR because we may do a part 2 of this. So, Dilithium Mine, definitely first priority. Second priority, because people are going to ask you for it, Spire and Research Lab. I would say those two, second priority. All the while you're building your starbase and your colony world. And Embassy and K13 can do at your leisure. They'll end up being built first before the colony world and the starbase. Okay? You save your resources. Oh, sorry, never, ever, ever build evenly. And save your resources, or the majority of your resources, for upgrades. Okay? There you go. So, this has been a beginning fleet guide for fleet leaders. And I hope you did learn something. I'm probably going to get a lot of questions. And that's okay. I may do a part 2. So if you like what you see, hit that like or subscribe button. Consider becoming a patron. Click the link for my Patreon page on my main YouTube channel. And you can hear the discussion of Teacher's Corner live every Saturday night on the Pilot Review Show. We air it Saturday at 10 p.m. Eastern, and I hope to see you there.